We are less than 48 hours away from the Yellowjackets Season 3 finale, and we still have a lot of unanswered questions. So today I've come up with 15 questions that I still have for the finale. I hope we get some answers. I'm sure at least some of these questions will get answered. I've kind of ranked these in level of importance. Of course, these are subject to change, and you guys might disagree on which ones might be a little bit more important, but let's get into it. I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited for this season finale. Honestly, I cannot believe that we've already made it all the way through this season. I feel like it just started. As much as I'm loving this season, I feel like we haven't gotten that many answers and we've only gotten more questions. So here are 15 questions that I still have going into the season finale. Coming in at number 15, I have what happened to Crystal's body? Now, honestly, I don't know if this is that important to the story. This happened a while ago. I feel like most people have forgotten about it, but I do see some fans questioning what happened to it. And I never really gave it that much thought before. Like when Misty first went looking for Crystal's body and she was digging through the snow, my first thought was like, Misty just didn't dig deep enough. She didn't even spend that much time digging, so I just assumed that Crystal was somewhere below the snow. But of course, now comes season 3, the snow has melted, so shouldn't her body be there? I'm going to assume that an animal dragged the body away, because I'm sure during the winter, being in the snow, Crystal's body was pretty much preserved, the same way Jackie's body was preserved for 2 months. And then once the snow melted and the animals started to come out again, I feel like they probably just ate Crystal and dragged her body away. I mean, if that didn't happen, I feel like Crystal's body would still be there and the girls would see it eventually when they go to like dump the bucket off the cliff. So yeah, like I said, don't think that this is super important to the story, but what do you guys think? What are your theories on what happened to Crystal's body? Question number 14, who burned down the cabin? This was one of the biggest questions that we had going into season 3. Everyone had lots of different theories. I did a separate video on this on my channel if you want to go back and check it out. Obviously, majority of the girls thought Coach Ben did it. They had the whole trial for him. I do not think it was Coach Ben. I actually think that it was other Ty. You know, she did it when she was kind of sleepwalking, and I also think that Van knows this, but is keeping a secret to protect Ty from the other girls, because who knows what everyone would want to do to Ty if they knew she burned down the cabin. There's also the possibility of it just being an accident. You know, the girls always had candles lit, the fireplace was always going. Maybe it wasn't anyone, maybe it was just an accident. But I don't know, I feel like that was a big plot point during this season and they kind of just brushed past it. So what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Who burned down the cabin? Question number 13, will the rest of the girls find out that Misty broke the transponder? So this is something that I've always wondered since the very first season. We know from the previous episode that Natalie has discovered this. A part of me thinks that Natalie is going to keep Misty's secret, at least for now, because even though Natalie might be pissed that Misty did this and essentially got them stuck in the wilderness, I think Natalie realizes that right now this is their way out of the wilderness. So Natalie needs to protect Misty so that they can fix it and they can get out. And if the other girls like Shauna knew this, they might not want it to get fixed. I've always wondered if the rest of the girls will find this out, and that could explain why in the adult timeline, they're really not friendly with Misty. They haven't really kept in contact with her for the past 25 years. Maybe it's because they know that she's the reason they got stuck out there and went through all of this trauma. But now a part of me does think that Natalie might actually keep this secret forever. And that could explain why Misty has this love for Natalie in the adult timeline because, you know, she kept her secret and protected her. And it could also explain why Natalie kind of has this like resentment towards Misty. But what do you guys think? Do you think the rest of the girls will find out the truth? Question number 12. What is in the letter from Melissa? The letter that she left for Shauna that Shauna has yet to read. Now I do think we will get this question answered in the finale because we do see in one of the season 3 trailers that Shauna appears to be reading a letter. But I really just want to know what the hell Melissa could possibly have to say to Shauna in that letter. I mean, in the previous episode, she says to Shauna, like, I explained everything in the letter. But now this does also bring me to question number 11. What does Melissa want? What is her goal in all of this? You know, she says to Shauna, she thought that Shauna hearing the tape could help her move on the way that Melissa's trying to, but honestly, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. And the fact that when Melissa kills Van, she says something like, "Isn't this what it wants?" So like, was Melissa always planning to sacrifice one of them? Is there something going on in Melissa's life that she thinks a sacrifice could fix? Maybe her wife is sick, maybe her child is sick. What is her goal here? A part of me does think that Melissa is going to carry over into season 4. So what is her goal? What is her long-term goal here? Question number 10. What is up with Lottie's dad? I do think that there is something more to him. I go into great detail about this in my video about what happened to Lottie. I think there's a good chance that her dad could be involved in her death, whether it was on purpose or an accident, I don't know, but that whole episode when Shauna and Walter and Misty are talking to Lottie's dad, there's like a lot of suspicious moments, a lot of clues. There's this one line from him talking to Misty saying like, no, this was an accident, and if Artie down at the station says otherwise, his foundation won't see a dime. So he's like insistent on saying this is an accident. Is he talking about Lottie's death, or is he referring to the initial plane crash, which he is the one who rented the plane for them? If you want to see all the clues that I talk about with Lottie's dad, definitely go back and check out my past video. It will be linked down below, but I will also try to link it here in the video right now. Another thing that Lottie's dad says is something about, I bet it was one of those cult nutsos, which does bring me to question number 9. Will we see Lisa again? She clearly has a connection to Lottie. She saw her, I think, the day that Lottie died. I mean, she says that she saw Ty talking to Lottie that same day. And we know that Lottie gave Lisa $50,000. I feel like, I don't know, there's got to be something more with Lisa. I feel like we have to see her again in the finale. I don't really think that Lisa's responsible for Lottie's death, but I feel like she might know something. Moving on to question number 8. What is up with the man with no eyes? As we know, Ty has been seeing him since season 1. We really don't know what that is all about. I mean, in this season, when Ty was watching TV with Van, Ty saw him on a commercial that was on an old tape they were watching. And Van says that she saw him too, but honestly, I think Van was lying, kind of to just comfort Ty, so that Ty didn't freak out too much. And then Ty and Van went to the ice cream shop that the man with no eyes was at in the commercial, but nothing really came from that. Or am I missing something? Like, what happened when they went to the ice cream shop? I do feel like when it comes to the man with no eyes, we probably won't find anything out in the finale. I feel like that's definitely going to carry out through the rest of the show. Like, we probably won't find out until the show ends, which is looking like there's going to be 5 seasons. I think I heard that the creators are planning for 5 seasons, but we'll just have to wait and see. Question number 7. What the hell is up with Walter? Is he a good guy or not? Is he trustworthy? Is he playing Misty? Is he actually who he says he is? I mean, his license plate on his car literally says not Walter. So is that an alias? Maybe he has something to do with Melissa. I know a lot of fans think like, what if he is Melissa's brother? There's got to be something more with Walter. I feel like he's really taken a back seat this season, and maybe it's because they're saving him for the finale, some kind of reveal that will bring us into season 4. Question number 6. What does the symbol mean? Again, this is something that has been ongoing throughout the entire show since season 1. We see this symbol all throughout the wilderness. It's on trees, it's in the cabin, and we do not have an answer yet on what the symbol means. A part of me thinks that we probably won't find out in the finale. That's another thing, like the man with no eyes, that I feel like they're going to kind of drag out until the end to kind of keep that mystery alive. But I do think that the finale is going to end with the girls getting rescued, so it would be nice to have some kind of an answer before they leave the wilderness, but I just don't know if I see that happening. Question number 5. Who is Pit Girl? This is something that we've all been wondering since the very first episode of the show. We have a few contenders for who Pit Girl could be. We know that she has long brunette hair, so some of the suspects for Pit Girl are Mari, Jen, this other girl whose name I can never remember. I don't even think we've ever heard her speak. And now Hannah. And Hannah is who I think is Pit Girl. I did do a whole separate video on this if you want to check it out. I do think Hannah's hair looks the most similar to Pit Girl as far as like length and texture. And obviously the girls are going to draw cards, but it's like, why wouldn't they choose to eat an outsider instead of one of their own? And now we know that Van is going to rig the game. So if she's able to do that, I mean, I'm hoping she picks Hannah rather than one of her friends. But now this brings me to question number 4. Who is the Antler Queen? Again, that same separate video that I did, I do talk about who I think Antler Queen is. For a while now, I've thought that it's going to be Shauna. We do know that Shauna is the new leader now. I know a lot of people think that Lottie might be Antler Queen, which I could see happening, but a part of me doesn't think it's Lottie because in season 2, when adult Lottie has like these visions of Antler Queen, she seems very scared. And she does say earlier in season 3 that everyone is afraid of Shauna. So if she's afraid of Shauna and she's also afraid of Antler Queen, maybe they are the same person. But now I did share just yesterday in my finale promo breakdown, what if Antler Queen is no one? What if it's just a figment of their imagination? What if it's just a personification of the wilderness? I do feel like that is a pretty high possibility. I mean, we know that all of these girls have hallucinated things before. And in the promo for the next episode, Antler Queen has like these long, scary looking fingers, and Lottie and the Antler Queen seem to be doing the same hand motion, kind of raising their arms. So what if Lottie is just like kind of hallucinating this? I don't know. Who do you guys think is Antler Queen? Leave a comment. Question number 3. What was on Lottie's phone in the previous episode? What did Misty see? This is a question that I do think we will get an answer for in the next episode. It obviously has something to do with Lottie's death. Does Misty think that she figured out who killed Lottie? And also, why would Walter just leave it there for her to find? Is it maybe something that only Misty would find a connection? Like maybe Walter saw it and didn't think it was of significance, but maybe it's something that like Misty would know, oh my god, this means something. Maybe it was a photo of Callie and Lottie together. A lot of us here are suspicious of Callie when it comes to Lottie's murder. Which does bring me to question number 2, who killed Lottie? I have a few suspects, you know, I think Lottie's dad might have something to do with it. At one point, I really thought it could have been Ty. Now I'm suspicious of Callie. Those are pretty much my top 3 suspects. But also another part of me does think that it could just be a suicide. I talk about this in great detail in my past video. The episode right before Lottie's death, we can clearly see Lottie holding the King of Hearts, which Van tells us is the Suicide King. So maybe no one's responsible for Lottie's death but herself. It's one of those things when it comes to the Yellowjackets, oftentimes the girls think it's something bigger and someone else messing with them, but it's really just one of them. So what if no one killed Lottie? What if she killed herself? And this is another one I think we definitely have to find out the answer. There's no way they're not going to tell us in the finale. And finally, question number 1, the main thing that I would like an answer to, what was the bad thing that they did when they got home? We know that the girls did something terrible once they got home after being rescued. Jackie says this to Shauna in the beginning of this season. When Shauna's locked in the freezer and she hallucinates Jackie, Jackie says something like, someone's trying to punish you, not just for what you did out there, but what you did when you got back. What could that be? A part of me is thinking that one of the other girls in the wilderness will make it out with them. Someone else will survive and go back home, and maybe the girls kill her when they get home because they were afraid that she'll talk. I mean, we still have a lot of people alive currently in the wilderness. We have Jen, Mari, Akilah, these 2 other girls whose names I can never remember. So that's like 5 people that we have not seen an adult counterpart for yet. And I do think at least a couple of them will die in the finale in the wilderness, because there's gotta be some deaths in the finale, but that's still 5 people. Are all 5 people going to die in the wilderness right before rescue? That seems kind of crazy. So maybe 1 or 2 of them makes it back home with the girls, but they end up killing them so that they don't talk and reveal their secrets. That's pretty much the only thing that I can think of for what could be so terrible that they do when they get back. I mean, just think about it. If one of the other girls survives and makes it home, you know, survived 19 months in the wilderness, going through all of this trauma, just to die and be murdered when they get back, that's terrible. Unfortunately, this is another question that I feel like we probably won't get the answer in the finale. They're probably saving it for season 4. I mean, season 4 is definitely going to introduce the post-rescue timeline, so they gotta save some stuff for that. But maybe they can tease it a little bit towards the end of the finale. I don't know. They obviously have to guarantee that we'll tune in next season. But there you have it. Those are 15 questions that we still need answers to. I hope we can get at least half of these answered in the finale. Some of them I don't think we'll get answers to just yet. You know, they gotta guarantee that we will tune in next season, which, let's be real, we're all gonna tune in. But let me know some of your thoughts on some of these questions. Leave some comments down below. Do you have any other unanswered questions that you can think of? Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on future Yellowjackets posts. Definitely stay tuned for my episode 10 finale breakdown. I am super excited to watch the episode and make a video on it. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.